Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Rosefellow podcast. Today's a special edition because we are doing what we call the summer edition of Rosefellow. And why? Because Chris and I are the only two in the office while everybody else is away around the world on vacation, taking some time away. So we thought it'd be good to discuss, why entrepreneurs struggle to disconnect, the importance of recharging, hence the vacations, leadership, health, culture, and what continues to drive us. So with that said, Chris and I will bounce some questions back and forth and kind of get into it.
How come we're not on vacation right now?
That's a very good question.
Very good question. Yeah. Everybody's all around the world, and here we are. But we'll get our chance. We'll get our chance. So why don't we start this off, Mike? Why is it so hard for entrepreneurs to disconnect?
I don't think entrepreneurs struggle to disconnect simply because we're workaholics. I think we struggle because we're curious. Personally, every time I go away, I think, did that lease get signed? How did that meeting go that can be had? Or John or Chris, did the tenant sign a lease? That's what goes through my head. It's more curiosity than it is being a workaholic. That said, I've learned something over the years that is important. When you're always connected to your business, you eventually become disconnected to the things that are important in life: family, friends, partners. So it is important to disconnect, but curiosity always gets me. Chris, do you ever completely disconnect when you're on vacation? Or is it always, are you always thinking about something in the background?
Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. Whether I'm on vacation or just at the house on the weekend, it's always turning. It's always turning. What's happening with this? I got to send this email. And you get inspired by stuff too. So you get like these things that you see, you're like, that's a good idea for the business. Or you saw something, I'm going to do this. Or you watch something, I'm going to put that in. So it creates this excitement. You almost get addicted to it. And I think that's one of the big difference. Now, is there a time where I get completely disconnected? I think the only time I get completely disconnected is if I play a very intense sport. So if I play, for example, I love tennis, I love hockey. I think that is the only time. Well, even in hockey, I've been on the bench sometimes, and it's my turn to jump on the ice, and the guy's like, Chris, it's your turn.
Wake up.
I'm thinking about the email I'm going to write tomorrow. Like, it is so hard to completely disconnect.
Yeah.
Completely disconnect, almost impossible for me.
Even our weekends. How many times are you and I speaking on a Friday or Saturday morning? We say, hey, let's just set up a meeting and let's have breakfast. And how many times do we do that? So even when it's a regular weekend and not vacation time, even those couple of days, we don't truly disconnect.
Yep. No, I think it's, and also, there's something to be said about when you're not in the Monday to Friday, we come into the weekend, there's a little bit less calls coming in. Your mind is maybe more focused to strategic decisions, a little bit more time to think. I think that's why ourselves, our team as well, we like to get together at those moments, like on Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, to get together and brainstorm. Because we have that opportunity to really go deep in our thoughts and think about things. So, I haven't seen many entrepreneurs, many highly successful people that'll say, yeah, I can take a whole week off and not think about the business. I think highly unlikely.
Absolutely.
So, Mike, does vacation actually make you a better leader? Or taking time off?
Absolutely. I honestly think many of the decisions that I regret the most was just because I was exhausted. Nobody performs at their best when they're running on empty. It's as simple as that. We encourage our teams to get away, to disconnect, because they come back happier, healthier, and they're more creative. So I think a lot of the great decisions that we make is when our brains are rested and we feel recharged. Have you ever returned from a vacation and immediately seen a solution to a problem that wasn't clear beforehand?
It's funny for me. The definition of vacation is very diversified. A vacation could be a night where you go watch a movie. It could be a weekend where I played a couple of tennis games, it's just disconnecting. It doesn't have to be 2 weeks. It's just that disconnect. even if it's a short period, but absolutely. I mean, I think the best ideas that I've had when there was a solution or a problem that was lingering, and the best solutions I came up with was not at the office. It was maybe at the gym, between two sets,
Yeah.
and the idea just pops out, and then I write it down, or I'll write it on my phone or something, or it could be, after an activity I did or something I did with the family, and the solution just pops. I think that little disconnect, that little time away from the environment, the work environment, stimulates your brain, and you'll find that solution. So for me, absolutely. And a lot of times I'll leave the office saying, I didn't find the solution, or the ideas are not coming. And then I'll just step out of that environment, start doing something more recreational, and the idea will come up. It is absolute 100% happens all the time.
So on that note, if we talk about kind of work-life balance, you and I have spoken about this to many people, and I think there's a lot of people look at us like we're nuts sometimes. But if I were to ask you, what are your thoughts on work-life balance?
I don't believe in it. I just don't. And I know a lot of people will say, wow, you got to have balance in your life. You got to have your family life, your recreational life, your pastimes. But I don't think so. I think if you want to be truly successful at something, there's got to be an imbalance. There's got to be a time where you put the majority of your energy and your focus to attain that objective. And then if you have to have a support around you to do that. I mean, I saw an interview. I don't know if you saw this one. It was with Barack Obama. And they asked him this exact question. Exactly same thing. So you're like Barack Obama, right? He's going to say, absolutely, have
the politically correct response.
Politically correct. Hell no. His answer was do you think I would have become president of the United States if I had a perfect balanced life at that moment in my life? So it doesn't mean your whole life you got to put aside your family, your free time. But there are moments in your life, if you want to attain your objective, you're going to have to be obsessive about it.
Absolutely.
You're going to have to say, this is the priority. Now, there's still ways to do that and take care of your family. And there's different times in your life where you may decide, this is the objective I'm going to pursue. But I think if you're trying to have the perfect balance and say, I'm going to do my 9 to 4, I'm going to come home and I'm going to go play my golf game, or do this and do that, people are going to pass ahead of you. Yeah. And at one point, you're just not going to attain your objective. That's just the way I feel. Now, over the years, you learn tricks, on how to manage that. But if you want to be truly successful, that's my opinion.
I like what you said. You learn tricks over time. And that's true. I agree with you 100%. In my opinion, there's no way you can be extremely successful at something if you're not dedicating a crazy amount of time to it.
Yep.
But on the flip side, I think it's the time you allocate to those specific things that are important. As an example, we sometimes work 12, 14 hours a day. But when I come home, and if it's about spending time with my son or my daughter, I'm going to disconnect from my phone. And that could only be an hour. So people are like, well, you don't have a work-life balance because you're not spending the same amount of time with your family as you do at work. I don't agree. I think you allocate the time to your family, but you got to be exclusive to them. Yep. I've seen so many people who have what they call work-life balance, and when they're with their kids, the kid's on an iPad, or they're answering text messages, or they're on Facebook or Instagram showing pictures, taking pictures of themselves. That's not a work-life balance.
At restaurants.
At restaurants, my God,
it's crazy.
So if work-life balance to me is the time you spend with your kids, is 100% dedicated to them. You're on a bike ride, you're playing tennis, you're playing basketball. Your phone's not next to you. It can only be an hour. Sometimes I see my kids a half an hour a day, but that half an hour is completely focused on them. And that for me is what is a proper work-life balance. To your point, you have to have a team. When I say team, it's family, it's friends who understand. And if they don't, it's not going to work. It's as simple as that. So when you come into a new venture, that'd be a new business, or you're working for someone, but you're dedicating time to it. If your partner, if your family is not on board, something's going to break.
It's funny. Something just went through my mind. The quality is more important than the quantity.
100%. Yeah.
And I was at one of my kids' football game once, and I'm watching the game. one of the rare games I wasn't coaching. I'm watching the game, and there's a father next, and he's on his Instagram. His kid's playing right there. He's on his Instagram. You know, like, and then I was talking about restaurants. Another thing, how many times you go to a restaurant? My wife tells me this all the time. You go to a restaurant, you look at a table next door, there's a family, everybody's on their phone.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It drives me crazy when I see that. So why do successful people often struggle to take vacations?
I think, if I think about myself, a lot of it is the fear of missing out and like a guilty feeling. You know, like the feeling that, my competitors are getting ahead, or I may be missing an opportunity right now. I'm on a beach somewhere, but I may be missing the big deal, or there's like a guilt feeling, right? That's always there. But there has to be a moment where you find a way to disconnect. And some people can do it for longer periods of time, and others don't. You have to find what's right for you. I think for me, long periods are not beneficial because I get more stressed out.
Same.
I get more anxiety. It took me a while to find that sweet spot where I'm like, okay, I was able to recharge, change my mind. But if it extends too long, it has an adverse effect for me. So you got to find that. Everybody's different. You got to find that balance. But why do I think entrepreneurs and people have a hard time taking time off? It's that fear of missing out. It's that guilt.
What I think is key is to have a great infrastructure, a great team. I don't go away often, but when I do, I make sure to plan accordingly. If there's things I had, you know, I can lean to you, I can lean to Sam, John, and the entire team to make sure things are taken care of. I will not disconnect fully. I will follow up, text message, emails, phone calls from no matter where I am in the world to kind of find out. Again, that comes back to curiosity. But I think when you have a great team, a great infrastructure, and people you can lean on and trust, it makes it easier.
That's a good
But let me
point.
ask you this, Chris. How do you know when your body or mind is telling you that it's time to recharge? Your battery's on empty.
I have such clear signs, like very clear. And I think that's about learning over the years as well. So for me, patience goes down. That's number one. When my patience is not at the same level. Irritability, I get irritable quicker. Things that are not, actually, the biggest sign is when there are traits that are not normal to my character. When that starts to happen, I know that I need a little break. And it doesn't have to be a long break. For me, it's sometimes when I see those signals, I need 24 hours, 48 hours, where I need to go do some, I got to go, play some tennis, change the routine. A lot of times for me, it's when the routine is setting in too much. Like after like period of time, I just need that break. But it's really that those are the signs.
You reminded me of something, and I can't remember what the book was called, but there was a book I read, and it said you should organize and schedule mini vacations at least once a month. And a mini vacation could be a long weekend. You take a Friday off once a month, but you plan something, you go away. If you're married or if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, it gives you that excitement knowing that something is coming up. People sometimes live that only once a year, that week in the summer, that week at Christmas. Having that where it could be a weekend up at the cottage, you're taking a drive to Toronto or you're going to New York for a long, that little disconnect gives you something to look forward to, and it gives you that ability to recharge, but also excitement in your life that you don't only need once a year.
It's so true. And sometimes that little excitement, that's a very good point. That little excitement sometimes could be from a trip, but it also could be in your routine. So for example, working out. I know for you, going to the gym is extremely important. Me, it's my tennis game, my hockey game. To have that in your schedule does create that excitement. And over the years, one thing that I realize is how important that personal time is to keep in your schedule. Because before in the past, that was the first thing to go. A colleague would come and say, "Hey, Chris, we have the CEO to meet. He wants to meet on Wednesday at 8:00. That's my tennis game. But like Chris from 10 years ago would have said, the hell with that. I'm gonna cancel that, or for whatever reason, that was the first thing to go, which was the biggest mistake.
Absolutely.
Today, that personal time in my schedule,
You look
I make
forward
sure
to
to
it.
keep it because it makes me better at work after. It makes me more relaxed. It makes me more creative.
And you feel on edge when you don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I gotta ask though, like, we know each other pretty well, obviously. Do you ever feel guilty when you take time off? When you go away?
All the time.
I knew the answer. I knew the answer.
All the time. And I don't, people who know me know I barely take any time off. And even when my family does go away, I don't go with them. I may fly in to meet them for a couple of days. But to your point, to what you said earlier, my breaking point is 5 days.
5 days.
Some people can go away for 2-3 weeks, and I hear about them going to Europe, and that's great. 'Cause if they can disconnect and do that for 2-3 weeks and enjoy that time, God bless them. That's not for me.
What happens on day 5?
I get edgy. The same way, when your battery's on empty and you need to get away because you're on edge. I have that same feeling of being on edge because I'm called overly charged, or my hamster's running and I got all these creative ideas and I want to be back. My element of comfort is the office. I love coming in. We can work remotely from anywhere in the world with the technology we have, with the software we have. I just love being in the office, seeing our team. It's such a comforting feeling, knowing what we've built and proud of it. So that's
5 days.
5 days is my breaking point.
What happens at day 6, 7?
You can ask me why, because I'm back in the office.
I love it. I think when we talk about success and drive and we talked about the balance, how do you sustain it over time, right? How do you sustain all that? Because that is a big challenge. Like you can have that energy for a short amount of time, but to be really successful, you got to have that over a very long period of time. I know your routine, and I think you should share it. But just for the audience, I know you get up like at 3:34 in the morning, because I have the text messages to prove it. And then you've got your whole routine, which I think you should talk about. And you're a high energy person. Like, you are definitely the one that comes in the office that puts that energy, that drive in the group. But one thing that I wanted to ask you is, how do you sustain that throughout the year? But maybe before you answer that, I'd love for you to tell people your routine, because it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
It probably is crazy to most. It's my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But my alarm does go off at 3:30 every morning, and by the time I'm done, just preparing a shake and having my vitamins, I'm in a cold plunge by 4:15.
What's the temperature of the cold plunge?
It's 2 degrees Celsius. I go in for 3 minutes every morning. So and you know what? People say, oh, you get used to it. You never do. I've been doing it for 2 years now, and I still hate getting in, but the feeling you get getting out is amazing. Finish that cold plunge, get dressed. And even in the hottest of days in the summer, I'm still in a pair of sweats, a hoodie, and a toucan, because I'm freezing after that. And I drive myself to the gym. I train with the trainer for an hour, and I'm at the office usually by 7:15 in the morning. That's my morning. When my day's over, which is usually I get home 7 to 7:30 at night, I'll eat dinner. I get in a sauna for 30 minutes. Then there's another cold plunge after that, and then I go to bed. So I probably sleep 5 hours a night, which is definitely not enough. It works for me. Am I slightly drained by Friday afternoon? Absolutely. But that routine keeps me, as crazy as it sounds, it keeps me energized and going for my day. I'm a miserable person when I don't train and I don't have that routine in the morning. I go to bed and I feel completely off if I don't do a cold plunge before I get to bed. So it works for me. It keeps me energized. I do need my Friday night to go to bed early, because the end of the week is tough. But then I'm fully recharged and ready by Saturday morning.
Is that the routine that keeps you grounded, or is there something else in there? Because we're
Chris, I think what it is I've learned to, and this is from reading tons of books and listening to podcasts, I've learned to appreciate
reading the books is between midnight and 3:30.
It's either I'm in the car listening to a podcast or an audiobook, or right before bed at 10 to 10:30 I'll read whatever I can in half an hour before it knocks me out. But I've learned to appreciate everybody's always said you only have one life. But when you truly understand that and you take advantage of every second, if I can find a way to eliminate sleep, I would. I know you can't.
It's the number one thing for your health. All the studies are out.
I know.
If there's one thing you're gonna do is you gotta sleep.
But I truly do live with the concept of this. We only have one life, and I gotta take full advantage of it.
Yeah.
And that's why people are like, you don't celebrate your wins, or you should take more time to go vacation. I firmly believe we're on a clock.
Yeah.
So how do I maximize my time on this planet? The blessings that God bestowed upon us. Well, I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna try to extend my life by doing these routines and training hard and doing what I can to biohack myself to be 104 if I can. Whatever it may be, it works for me. It keeps me driven and motivated.
What's the number one? The number one, if you had one thing in your routine that helps you with energy and being grounded and feeling good, what's the one thing?
I don't think there's one. I think there's three. Cold plunge is probably number one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Training, and then the sauna. I just find the sauna just completely, it clears my head at the end of the day. Every bit of stress comes out.
Yeah.
So those three are my top three. Obviously, eating right is key, and not drinking. I will have a cocktail every once in a while, but very, very limited. It just that brain fog, and it just screws up my routine.
Yeah.
But what do you keep, or how do you keep challenges from bringing you down, Chris?
Challenges don't bring me down at all. I'd say the other way around. As if I had no challenges, I'd be really stressed.
Yeah.
I find that challenges is relevance. We deal with our industry. Real estate is all about solving problems constantly. And I know when problems come to my desk or a challenge or something, I look at it and I'm like, well, this is good. This is good. It's something that allows us to show our talent, shows what we're good at. It also what motivates the team. When you have a challenge to face and you have a group of individuals that are focused to achieving it, and we get through it, the feeling after is incredible.
Yeah.
So for me, when challenges come, I'm happy with challenges. What I'd be more concerned about is if there wasn't. If all of a sudden there's no more problems to solve, there's no more, that would really get me nervous. But having challenges, I'm fine with that. I think especially, like you said before, when you surround yourself with a solid team, you're like, there's no challenge, there's no door I won't walk into with this team, because I know at the end of the day, we'll find a solution. We'll find a way to navigate through it. And when you have that confidence, challenges, sure, bring them on, no problem.
So with that, you need energy. Energy is contagious. Chris, you often say that energy is contagious. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Because I hear you say it all the time around the office.
I think that how can I put this? We all give out a frequency. Like everybody here, we have a frequency that we give out. And you know what? Before I get into, I'll tell you an example. Have you ever met someone, you've spoken 2 words to that person, and you're like, oof, this person's toxic. You feel it right away.
Absolutely.
You don't even know them. You don't know their background. You don't know what they do. You've had 2 sentences with them.
And you're saying, I don't trust this person, or something's off.
Inversely, you met people that you have a couple of words with, and you're like, wow, what a good person. What a great energy. It's a frequency that people give out. And
it's infectious.
It's infectious. And I think it is also so important in your life to protect your energy. Because when you let these negative frequency get into your life, it affects you.
Yeah.
It affects the way you act, the way you speak, the way you look at challenges. If we had a group that had all negative energy, do you think we would solve any challenge? No. And I really do this. I protect my energy. I will cut out toxic people like cancer.
Yeah.
I have literally breaking up with people, said, you know what? I cannot continue. Like, this is not going to work.
I agree. It's important to do that too. But I think another thing that's important with energy is preparation.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can come into a boardroom and try to fake being happy, but if you're not prepared, you give out a very negative energy. So I think preparation is another key to having positive energy. And I think it's just about appreciating who you are, where you are, and the opportunities we've been given, and the blessings that we have. You know, I come into the office today like I did 7 years ago saying, wow, look at what we've done. Look at this brand that the people talk about.
Yeah.
Look at these incredible buildings that we've built. And it's important for me to come in and kind of exude that energy to the team.
Yeah.
Because it's from top down. My door is never closed at the office, and I never want it to be. I'm not on my phone on social media in the middle of the day. I want my team to know if there's something, no matter what it is, personal or business, you can come in, we can talk. Because I appreciate them being here. It's not just I want them to appreciate the job. It's no, I appreciate you trusting us and working with us. And if I can give that positive aura or energy, I think like we said, it's infectious. It reciprocates. And I think you and I connect, personally as friends, as business partners too, because we have that same kind of mindset.
How do you? I agree 100%. I mean, it's fundamental, but there are days when not everything goes well.
You're right.
You know, like there are days, I don't know, the sauna's broken, the cold plunger not working. And the days that things are not going well, and you're so right. I mean, it starts from the top, and you walk into the office, and you have to have that positive energy. What gets you to bring it?
I think what's important is to know that you have to leave it at the door. It's not always perfect. Stuff can be happening at home. There could be, there could be and there's numerous things. A deal's not going, it's going sideways. It's just miserable outside. It's raining, whatever it is. It could be the simplest things to the most complicated things that could be happening in your life. You have to learn to leave it at the door and be mature enough to understand that people count on you being a certain way or acting a certain way. And when your team sees you as a leader, as an executive who's moping around the office, who's negative, that's infectious too. So if you need a positive team, you got to start from the top and show them. I always say it's not about. I tell my kids all the time, don't just say it, do it. So I don't try to tell my kids, well, work hard and study hard and be an honor student or no. I want to lead by example. So how do I do that? Is I'm going to work hard, and hopefully without me telling them, they're going to be like, oh, Dad works hard, and I should do the same with my homework, and I should do that. I should be polite, and I should be respectful because Dad does it that way, as opposed to telling them. I think that's what's important. Is sometimes you just got to leave things at the door and come in and say, and people are counting on you.
Absolutely, you leave things, and I think you always have a choice, right?
Yeah.
No matter what happens, like what
I like
bad
that.
news
You do have a choice.
got,
Yeah.
Bad news comes in, deal you wanted didn't go through, whatever. You always have a choice on how you're going to react.
Yeah.
Are you going to react making it worse, or are you going to react by turning it around and finding a positive element in all of it?
And Chris, you know what? You bring up such a great point. There's so many amazing things that have happened. I'll speak for myself, that happened in my life because of something so bad that happened.
Yeah.
And as an example, Rosefellow was started because at one point I just wasn't happy or content the way things were going when I was an employee at another company, and it was some negative things. At the time, I was pissed. I wasn't happy. I said, this doesn't make sense.
I know this story.
And I look back today saying, thank God that happened, because it gave me the courage, it gave me the kick in the ass to say, I'm going to go off on my own and try this on my own. Over and over and over again, from breakups. And you're crushed and you're heartbroken. You look into the future and you're like, thank God that happened, because that girl today is whatever she may be. I'm not gonna start saying names, but because of those negative situations, part of things come about. And it was, as Steve Jobs says, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back.
Oh, I like that.
That is so true. So even today, because of that mindset and remembering that when negative things happen, I tell myself, okay, there's a reason for this. There's a reason that God doesn't want this to happen. It's going really, really bad because we're going to learn something and things are going to get better.
Yeah.
That's happened in our past with partners. Yeah. It went sideways. The partner backed out the last minute. Thank God he did, because we ended up getting a different partner that are still working with us today. We learned to change the way we do things. So I firmly believe that in every negative situation, there's a positive outcome. We may not see it today. We may have to be patient. But there is something that's going to come out of it that's going to be positive one day.
It is so true.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, unfortunately, it takes time sometimes to realize that. And some people never realize that.
True.
You always have a choice on how you're going to react to a situation.
Very true.
And if you choose the positive side of things and a constructive way out, you're going to change that mindset. Yeah. You're going to change that situation.
Absolutely.
And you never know where it's going to lead to. We talked a lot about the team. We talked about energy. There's something extremely special here at Rosefellow. How would you describe it?
I think it's the energy we bring. People think our business is industrial real estate. It's not. Our business is relationships. How we nurture it. Buildings, the buildings we build can be copied. Capital can be copied. Even strategies can eventually be copied. But trust is incredibly difficult to duplicate. That's what we're trying to create every day with our tenants, with our partners, with the municipalities we work with the cities, our professionals, and our employees. It's the energy that we have that makes us so special. How do you, Chris, on that topic, how do we protect that relationship-driven approach at Rosefellow? As we continue to grow, because that's the thing. When you're small and you only have a couple of investors, it's one thing, or a couple of sites. But as you grow, now we're growing into different parts of the world. How do we protect that relationship-driven mindset?
I think it comes down to the culture. That was developed. I think from the onset, when Sam and you started Rosefellow, you had that mindset that just cascaded down to the whole team, to John, myself, and now to the rest of the group. And I think that's what makes a very strong culture, is when the values at the top cascade down to the whole team. Everybody has bought into that relationship-driven approach to business. Not the short-term victories, but the long-term relationships that you do with your clients, stakeholders, and everybody else that we're working with. I think that is really the key, that complete buy-in. And when you think about it, when you got a group of individuals, when you got a team that have a complete buy-in into a vision and to the objectives together, nothing can stop them.
True.
Nothing can stop them. And I think what makes really Rosefellow different is we have that complete buy-in. That complete buy-in. Doesn't matter who you ask at the company. They will tell you right away what our values are. They will tell you right away what our objectives are. And when someone works with Rosefellow, it doesn't matter if they're talking to Mike, to Chris, Sam, Julian, whoever it is. They're going to say, wow, these people, number one, have great energy. These people are relationship driven, and they're focused on attaining that. I think once you have that, unstoppable.
Yeah, I agree.
Unstoppable.
I agree.
That's the way I see the key to our business. Vacation edition, right? So we can think back on stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So my proudest moment this year, what would it be?
We do acquire great sites. We put up great buildings, sign great tenants. But I think, honestly, it's watching our team grow. You talked about team earlier. Seeing someone who joined us a few years ago, and the maturity and the growth and how they can lead a meeting, that excites me. It gives me goosebumps just talking about it. Buildings are great. Don't get me wrong, but watching people become leaders within our organization,
that's huge.
That makes me so proud.
Yep.
Why don't you? You have a few, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you give me a specific example of something of that of that, watching people grow or how people have evolved in Rosefellow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. I think that maybe to give some context, I think for an organization to be healthy, you should always have somebody pushing on your chair. If you do not have someone pushing on your chair to take your spot, there's a problem, because you got to think about the future. And a big part of our job is coaching.
Yeah.
It's a big part of our job. And we say it often, we should be we should be focused on strategic development of what's going to happen in a year, not the day to day. For me, one of the proudest moments, or for sure, is the growth of our team. And if I take, for example, I could take examples of a lot of people in the business, but I look at Danielle, our development director, unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, Danielle will meet cities, organizations
on his own.
Absolutely on his own. I mean, and he has gone to the point where I just love to watch him. Yeah. I'm like, wow, what a smart guy. Like, I didn't even think of that. And you know what, another moment that I loved, I don't think we talked about this. I don't know, it was like a month ago, we were having our I think it was a Saturday morning coffee with the team.
That's right.
We have breakfast on the weekends. We talked about it earlier. We like that because, one, it's more laid back. There's not there's
no distractions.
There's no distraction. It's a very fun kind of environment, right? And we're there, and the team absolutely took control of the whole meeting.
Yeah, I remember that.
We didn't even say a word. So they were talking about a few development projects that we have, our multi-res project, the strategy, the pro forma. And here we are, we're kind of looking at each other. And I remember that moment, I was like, wow, okay, we've gotten to another level now. We really gotten to another level when you see that kind of leadership from the team. You know what? Now I think about it, I think that was the most proudest moment I had.
I think what's fun too now, and I've learned to evolve and mature in that sense too, is when someone comes to me and asks me, what do you think we should do with this project, or what should we do with the interior of this building? I revert the question back to them. Well, what do you want to do? How do you see it evolving? I like hearing their thoughts, their opinions, because more times than none, they have the answers. Yeah. They don't need to come to me. They just have to get comfortable enough to trust themselves. Yeah. And by reverting the question back to them, it builds that confidence. Yeah. And after 3-4 times, they're not coming anymore to ask the question. To your point, they're taking charge. They're becoming leaders. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun to see that.
But
growth.
like we're one thing that you bring up all the time. You're like, Chris, we have to have a strong culture. And we just touched on that. But for you, what is a strong culture? What makes a successful culture, and why do you care about it so much?
I think because culture shows up on the difficult days. When times are tough. Anybody can claim to have great culture in a company when things are going great and business is good and the markets are strong. Real culture shows up in people when it's the bad day, when things are going rough. How do people act? Do they blame one another? Yeah. Or do they take responsibility? That's true culture. It's how you act in the bad times. I don't want to see someone protect themselves and throw their teammate under the bus. That for me is weak. And for me, that is when you truly discover who you are as a company and who you are as a person. Yeah. So you watch people and you watch how they act in bad times, and if they're pointing the finger, it says a lot about a person.
Yeah. What is something people do not see here at Rosefellow?
Social media is great.
Behind the scene. Tell me, what do people not see?
Social media is great. These podcasts are great. You can edit them. We can stutter. We can say the wrong thing. Cut. Reshoot, retake. Same with social media. And I laugh because we say it all the time. When I look at social media, I see the perfect couple and they have a picture and they're holding hands. Those are usually the people that have the most miserable lives.
It's all crap.
They want to see their followers. They want the world to say, "Oh, you're so in love." But the reality is that if we take Rosefellow specifically, people see the ribbon cutting. They see the new site that we acquired, but they don't see the hundreds of meetings that we have to have that sometimes went nowhere. that just ended up dead. They don't see the projects that almost died. They don't see the difficult decisions. They don't hear about the calls that we have at 10, 11 o'clock at night or 4 in the morning to figure out what to do because we don't have an answer. Success often looks really glamorous, especially, like I said, with social media. But from the inside, it looks like perseverance. I think that's what it is.
It really is.
We have tons of examples, but why don't you share an example of a project that almost completely failed, but that our team found a way to move forward?
We're going to go through every single project.
That's right. There's never one that's perfect.
So the reality is for people that are watching that maybe are not from real estate, the one thing about real estate that's changed over the years is there's no more easy projects.
Yeah.
It's over. The easy project, the green field that you come in, you build, you go, those are gone. Projects now in real estate, especially in development, there's challenges. 50, 60 years ago, it was a different time.
That's right.
Right? Today, you gotta pile on a lot of stuff. No, not just the zoning, but you got the environment, and it's good. It's good. We've gotten better because all these things make better projects.
That's right.
But it makes a lot of challenges. And a lot of times you have to redevelop. So that's why a lot of the projects you have to overcome challenges. But I know one that was, and it comes down to I often, when I speak to cities and I think over the years, there's a certain level of trust that's developed between myself and a lot of cities, and they ask advice.
But sorry to cut you off, Chris.
Yeah.
It's cities who are hearing that from other cities.
Yeah.
I've heard so many times, or we're getting calls from cities now who said, hey, I've spoke to so-and-so at this city, or the mayor of that city, and they said, you're such incredible people to work with. We have an opportunity. Can you come and sit down with us?
Absolutely. Yeah, it happens a lot. And a lot of times we'll do a project and they'll say, what is something we can do better? And I think a lot of times it's communication.
Yeah.
To say from the onset. I remember, you got your initial question. You said, what is the one project that we thought was going to die? I remember one project we thought we were completely aligned. We developed the concept, the development of the building, the layout, everything based on what we have gotten as information. Come to find out, we present to council.
Yeah.
And they were like, what the hell is this? And all I'm thinking about is there's over $200,000 of development costs in this project. And what I'm being told is, what the hell is this? And then it was it's also with the team after,
how do you explain
talk
that?
about challenges. What do we do? Do we start over? So the thing is, we started over. We got all together. Sat down with council and we said, okay, tell us exactly what are your concerns, how we can make it better. And ultimately it was a communication issue because the information that was initially given was not the right one, but that's fine. And it goes to choices. I could have had the choice at that time when I left that meeting to say, screw them. They wouldn't give us the right information. They don't like it now. They've changed their mind. No, I'm going to take another approach. Maybe this is happening because we'll have a better project. So we brought the team together, motivate everyone, and everybody's solution oriented. We turned it around. We did a great project, represented, almost standing ovation by the council, and we moved on and it was successful. But it was all about a choice that happened. That one choice, what do we do from here? Do we just quit and go around, or no? Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's make something positive out of this. And that was the outcome.
Chris, you make me think of an actual example in the States. I wasn't there, but you told me about it.
Yeah.
I won't say what city, but it was in the state of Florida. And you walked in, and there was, eight councilmen that were there?
I think there was 12.
There was
12. What
twelve.
is happening? The whole city was there.
And you had...
They wanted to see this Canadian guy. Who is this Canadian guy coming in to do a project here?
You had no plans to present. All you did is ask them to put the Google Maps on the screen, and your question to them is, this is a vision that we have. What do you want to see?
Yeah.
And they were taken back.
Yeah.
You could say the story, but from what you told me, they said this is the first time that someone's asked us for our opinion before presenting a master plan.
I always start that way. It doesn't matter the size of a project. I will always go to the community. And I've always said this before. No one knows a town better than the town itself. Nobody. Like, you can study as many data, market studies, spend time. You will not know more than that city councillor, that civil servant that's worked there for 15, 20 years. You have to take the time to listen. I think this is in a lot of things in life. You know, you have to take the time to ask the questions, to listen, to absorb, and then start proposing things.
And they feel they're part of it.
And they feel they're part of it.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Everybody wants to be part of a project. They don't want to feel like this has been kind of shoved down their throat. They want to feel that they're part of it. But that is a mistake that's often done. I see it all the time. You know, in my past life, I saw it. I saw it when developers were bringing projects and they're like, this is what you need. Oh, really? This is what I need. This is what you need. We did market studies. Baloney. Like, you have to get there. You have to get involved with people, ask them questions. And this instance in the States, their reaction was like, wow, because I didn't come in trying to pitch something right away. I came in to speak to them, to hear what they think, and to tell them, hey, I'm going to build a project that will address the concerns that you have and the wishes that you're putting for your community. And then we'll add our secret sauce to it, and then we'll come back to you. But you'll be part of it. You'll be engaged in it. So I think that is a key in that aspect.
100%.
And I think it's also showing leadership.
Yeah, for sure.
But if we switch a little bit to leadership, on your side, what were the lessons that took the longest to learn about leadership? That's a tough one, eh?
That not every problem has to be solved by me. You know, I at the onset of Rosefellow, I thought being a leader meant you had to have all the answers. Yeah. You had to be there and give the answers, and you had to have the right ones. Today, I think leadership is about asking the right questions. I think it's about surrounding ourselves with people who are smarter than us in their respective areas. You know, we've all heard this before. Leadership is not about being the smartest person in the room. I think being a good leader, it's about building the right room.
Yeah.
That's being the good leader. It's surrounding yourself with people that are way smarter than you. If you feel that you need to be the smartest person in the room, you're not going to go far in business.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with the best of the best, and you will be successful in anything you do.
Yeah. I often say that too. I had a conversation with our finance director, Andrew, and I remember telling him, I said, Andrew, I will challenge you to death when you bring those pro formas, because sites are so hard to find. Yeah. And when you have one that you know, but at the end of the day, I trust you. So I will challenge you. And I will hold on to that site. But if you bring me pro formas and you show me, Chris, it doesn't work for XXX reason, and I've challenged you to the max and you still come with that, I will 100% have your back. Yeah. I will 100% support you, because this is something you know way better than I do.
That's right.
And to your point, when you surround yourself with people that you have confidence in and you believe in, it makes things so much easier. But you got to be able to have the leadership to give them that power to the team around you.
That's right.
So we talked about leadership. We talked about energy. This is a great podcast, by the way. What if we talk about passion? Because that's put in the mix a lot now. You know, like, you got to have the passion to do this, the passion to do that.
And you do.
Is passion overrated?
You know what? I think you absolutely need passion. You need passion to get started, but you need discipline to keep going. It's as simple as that. Nobody feels motivated every single day of their lives. The people who succeed are the ones who continue to show up in difficult days, not only when it's great. Passion creates that momentum that you need, but discipline creates a consistency to keep going.
Oh, yeah.
There's no, it's as simple as that. People say you just need passion. It's not only passion. It won't last forever.
It's, I have a hard time with passion. I'm not sure. Like,
well, you know, you can't say that because you have a lot of it.
No, but I have a hard time with, like, you listen to these Instagram reels and like, passion, find your passion. You know what? I think you should find your talent over your passion when you're starting. I find a lot of the people that are saying follow your passion are a bunch of rich dudes, and they're placed on the BVI on an island or a yacht saying, hey, follow your passion. And all these kids are like, my passion is to do, I don't know, I'm going to be a football star, but has no athletic ability. I think you should find your God-given talent and then develop your passion.
True. I like that.
It is to me, it's fundamental. You know, we all have certain natural attributes. And if you focus on that and you develop your career around there, and then you start, trust me, if you start being successful at what you do, and it's part of your natural talent, and you start making money and you can take care of your kids, you'll be passionate. Yeah. It's going to come.
Absolutely.
So it's to me, it's a bit of is passion good? Of course, passion's good, but you got to have some. You have to have some thought behind that. And
That's
then
very true.
And once you find that talent, and okay, let's say you're you got that passion, then you got choices. And to what you say about discipline, you can be average, you can be good, you can be excellent, you can be elite. But the difference between elite and excellent will be the discipline that you put in after and the hard work that you put in.
Absolutely.
That is the key to that. What about health? We talked about cold plunge. How important is health to you?
You know, I've realized that my greatest asset isn't the buildings we build. It's not the company. It is my health, because without it, we have nothing. You know, I take care of my body. I take care of my mind. By doing so, I'm a better father. I'm a better friend. I'm a better partner, and hopefully, in all that, I'm a better leader. Health affects your decisions. Every decision you make, how you manage pressure, how you handle stress. If you're not healthy, if you all you care about is leaving work, getting home, having a scotch, drinking a couple of drinks, you're gonna wake up miserable, groggy. You have to take care of yourself. You cannot build something sustainable if you're always running on empty. It just will not work. It's the biggest change in my life since I started Rosefellow. At the onset, it was kind of like, work. And then Saturday night, have a few drinks and kind of just, disconnect. And it started off the week miserable. And it took me till like Wednesday to get back. Today, it's my number one priority is my health. And when I say health, it's not just to go to the gym and exercise. It is mind health too. It's reading. It's kind of educating myself. I firmly believe everything I've heard from Warren Buffett and everybody in between, that if you don't try to learn every day, you're going to end up behind. Yeah. I think it's so important. Yeah.
Well, I've seen it for sure. Like I've seen your like even in the last 2 years, like the discipline you have around your health. And I think the difference that I've noticed, Mike, is that you really will be absolutely determined on your time to take care of your health. And I think that's why you get up at 3:30, because you make sure to do that so you have the time to do the rest. But it's always there. It's part of your routine. And I've seen that change in the last 2 years.
But have you seen how it's become infectious?
Yeah.
You and I will chat, and we hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's been times where we've gone to Florida for meetings, and we've gone out on a Thursday night, and we're just having breakfast and giving shit to each other because we're not on point. But on the flip side, it's the challenge like, hey, are we meeting for breakfast tomorrow morning? It's Saturday. Yeah, I'm going to go to the gym, you go to the gym, let's meet up right after. And it's kind of like pushing each other to be better. And I think that's what's important. And my circle of friends and the people I hang out with or the people I talk to has evolved drastically in the last little bit of time to people now who do take care of their health. And unfortunately, there's some people who don't consider it a priority who I don't hang out with.
Yep. Well, I mean, it reminds me of the quote. How's it go? It goes, a healthy man wants 1,000 things. A sick man wants one thing. But we only realize it sometimes when it's too late.
Absolutely.
I think that, for if people are listening to this on vacation and everything, I really encourage people to look at all the studies now, and there's a lot of influencers and smart people out there. Like, there's, personally, I really like Gary Brecka, but there's a lot of others. Gary Brecka had a huge influence on me on changing my health habits. But there's so much out there now on what you can do and how you can eat better. We talked about sleeping, which has always been an issue for me, and I still struggle with that. But like your habits of working out, exercise.
The little things. I mean, you came over to my place the other day, and we had a barbecue. It was a Friday. Yeah. And you saw the salt that I had. The crazy, like, salt.
I'm like, hey, that's the organic salt. That stuff's great.
and that's what's fun about surrounding yourself around people who have the same kind of goals, which is take care of yourself first. Yeah. It just pushes you to be better.
It pushes you to be better. And, at the end of all this, I mean, we talked about business, we talked about leadership, and it's all important things. What the hell does it mean if you're sick?
Yeah.
It means nothing.
Absolutely.
Nothing. Passion, talent, leadership, culture. Screw that. If I can't get through the door because I'm sick, because I'm drinking too much, or I'm not sleeping, I'm not working out, and I'm stuck in a hospital bed, all this shit goes through the door.
Absolutely.
Like it's done. So anyways, for me, health is number one. And I am healthier today than I was 10 years ago.
I
by
agree.
Far. 10 years ago, I would have a bottle of wine dinner every night. I would have a cocktail,
puts in on the drive home from a late drink.
I would, what? I would celebrate. A lot of times I had made a correlation between celebration and alcohol.
Really?
I would do a big deal.
We all do.
I would make a big deal. Something, would come through, and I'll say, tonight I'm going to open that really good bottle of wine. And I think that's something that's changed over the years. I still like I'm not, that's what I'm saying. Everybody stop drinking. Drinking's horrible. I don't think drinking's horrible. Like, I do like to have a good bottle of wine with a nice meal. I just think that when more you learn about things and how it impacts your health, the more you make changes.
Absolutely.
And the more you feel good, the more it's contagious, and the more you want to continue in those good habits. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, if you don't have your health, all the rest doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
So having good health, being good in good spirits, what excites you about the future?
Sometimes, I think about that. I'm like, we're only 7 years old. We're only 7 years old. We did a presentation not too long ago to a company from Asia, and we're presenting all the the square footage that we've developed, the lands that we've acquired, everything. And I'm in the presentation, and the CEO stops and he goes, "Is there a mistake? Like it says you were founded in this year. Is that a mistake?" I'm like,
2019,
no.
yeah.
He's like, how's that possible? And I'm like, it's just the drive that we had. I mean, it's only been 7 years when you look at it. And I feel now with the team that's been put together, the buy-in to the culture, the objectives, I just see like the tremendous potential for the future here in Canada, obviously. But I'm also very excited about what we're doing in the USA. It's been a great ride. We've done it in a very careful and measured way, right? We didn't jump into anything crazy. So that really excites me. The developments that we're doing outside of the province really excites me. And obviously, all the stuff we're doing here in Quebec as well. I mean, this will always be home.
Absolutely.
And it makes me so proud when we do a project in and around Montreal or different areas of Quebec, which I'm also excited about because we're starting stuff in areas that we wouldn't even have thought about.
Yep. And different asset classes too. I mean, we got a bunch of stuff we're working on in different, I keep saying different parts of the world that are not in the wheelhouse, in our wheelhouse initially. It's not all industrial. So I'm excited to talk more about that when we can.
There's some cool stuff coming.
Absolutely.
There's some cool stuff coming. Yeah. Let's say we are in the future. What would you like people to remember about Rosefellow? Let's say we're 20 years from now.
I don't want people to remember us just for being the biggest. I hope they remember us for treating people the right way. I hope our tenants say that we cared about them and not just about signing a lease. I hope our employees say that working with us changed their lives. I hope our partners will look back and say they've always been honest, they're dependable, they always kept their word. Our buildings will eventually become someone else's. It's the reality.
Yep.
But our reputation will never go. And I just hope that people will look back 20 years, in 20 years, looking back 20 years and say, say all that. That's what I hope will carry with us. People are going to build nicer buildings in the future. People are going to build bigger buildings. But it's that reputation that I hope will stick.
We're coming to the end of our podcast. What is one message you would give someone who's struggling to take time away during this summer? Like, what would be like an advice you would give to an entrepreneur or anyone that's in business that's struggling with a little bit what we're struggling
the
with.
Disconnect. Hence why we're here.
Hence why we're here in the office.
I think the reality.
Horrible advice, guys. Don't follow us. Don't listen to what we're saying.
No, but if you think about it, if you look at it from 30,000 feet, the business will still be there when you get back. The opportunities will still be there. The problems will probably still be there too, that you go or that you don't go. But time with people who matter, that can't be replaced.
That can't be replaced.
The rest is not the opposite of ambition by far. It's part of just making it sustainable. It's important to recharge those batteries, and again, those issues, those buildings, those opportunities will be there when you get back. I think I should listen to my own advice, but I
says the guy in the office first day of vacation. Okay.
Beach vacation or city vacation?
Beach, 100%. Love the
same
ocean.
Here. Same here. Doesn't have to be the perfect sand that you'd find in Mexico or wherever else. I was in Italy not too long ago, and it was dark. Beach over a city vacation every day of the week.
Early morning workout or sleeping in?
Early morning for sure.
Same here. I was actually I was up this morning at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, I'm shocked, Mike. I'm shocked.
Are you a carry-on only person or an overpacker?
Overpacker.
Carry on. I will do what I can to make sure it fits. I hate waiting. I have zero patience. So when I land, I want to get out of that airport as soon as possible. And what irritates me is when I travel with you because I have to wait for you to get your piece of luggage.
And I always get like all sorts of stuff falls out. I can't find my passport. So it's horrendous. I like overpacking because I want to have all this stuff depending what happens.
All right, prima donna.
Is your phone turned off or are you checking it periodically?
My phone is like my artery. If my heart stops ticking, it's because my phone is off.
I always checking my phone. Remember the time I lost it on our business trip?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have a heart
mode.
attack. Panic mode.
Favorite vacation destination?
Simple. Anywhere with good food, nice beaches, and kind people. I can't pinpoint one, but give me good food and give me people who are kind. And I need a good gym in a hotel too, by the way. That's key.
Gym's good, yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
Good food. 100%. That is something that I enjoy so much in life. Good food, good energy, good vibe.
Yeah.
And that's the people as well.
Yeah.
And I'll add beautiful scenery, landscape. Love that.
So do you need to plan your itinerary or are you okay with spontaneous travel?
I need everything to be planned. I don't need to know exactly how much time I'm going to spend somewhere, but I need to know, okay, this morning we're going to a beach club or a beach party, and this day we're doing, we're going sightseeing. And by the way, I don't go sightseeing.
I just do not see Mike sightseeing.
No, I don't. So
bird watching, a little bird watching.
So to give you the best example, my
Mike sightseeing.
Yeah, no, wife and kids went off to Italy a couple of weeks before me because they wanted to do sightseeing. I said, no, I'm gonna fly in and drop myself in with a parachute when you get to the part of the vacation where it's just the beach.
I'm the opposite, spontaneous. One thing I hate is routine. I really do not like routine. So something that is spontaneous, like, hey, let's go here, let's go there, 48-hour notice, no problem.
Book, podcast, or movie?
Movie in the plane, podcasts on the beach, on vacation, not book. On podcasts, more podcasts on vacation. Book will be more in my normal routine.
So it's book with highlighter, and that will be on the plane. I'll also watch a movie, and you know, in the car, it's always a podcast or something, kind of just to train my mind. We'll say.
How many days does it take you to truly relax?
5 is the maximum amount of days I need on vacation. Anything more than that is too much. How many days I need to truly relax? I don't. I need a few hours. You know, I mentioned earlier that by the time I get to Friday, I'm drained because I get up every morning at 3:30. But if that means me going to bed at 9 o'clock on a Friday, I am good to go by Saturday morning.
I honestly, I can't answer that. I have no idea. I think it just depends on what's happening at that moment. Like it could take me an hour, or it could take me 24, 48 hours. It just depends on what's happening in the environment, where I am, who I'm with. It depends.
So yeah, we're at the end of our at the podcast. I think this was a lot of fun.
It's fun. It's good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think you know, does it mean I'm going to leave tomorrow? I'm going on vacation? No, I'll still be here. But
I'm going on vacation. I think tomorrow you're really going to be alone because I'm gone tomorrow.
But you know, I did learn a lot, and I do think it's important. And I did go away actually 2 weeks ago for a week, and I did recharge, and I came up with a bunch of ideas. And you and I spoke on a daily basis, bouncing ideas off each other. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I hope those who tuned in enjoyed it as well, and I hope they took something out of it. And with that, we wish everyone a super great summer. If you're taking time off, enjoy your vacation. If not, well, enjoy some of the time in the sun if you can on your weekends or at night. But I'll have to say, on behalf of everyone at Rosefellow, thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Mike.
It's been a lot of fun. We love to give back. We love to mentor. We love to share. And we just ask that those listen do the same thing. If there's someone that's looking for help, or that's someone that's reaching out, you know, be that person who listens, be that person that helps, and pay it forward.